Hi everyone, this is Pauline from Art Fair Mag, and today I'm with Lydia Melamed Johnson, the director of the iconic photography show presented by AIPAD. Good morning, Lydia.
Good morning, Pauline. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me some of your time. So, Lydia, of course, the photography show has a very rich history. It has been founded in 1979. So, could you please share it with us and maybe tell us how it has evolved over the year?
Yes, absolutely. It is the longest running continuous photography art fair in the world. And we're absolutely thrilled this year. We're returning to one of our favorite homes, the Park Avenue Armory. APAD was founded by a small group of dealers to create a photography showcase, and it started in hotels in Midtown Manhattan and gradually grew to become the, as you say, iconic photography fair it is now. It really is such a specific point of the calendar for the photography community. And that happened when really it started to grow from the Midtown hotels. We then went to the Park Avenue Armory, and we were there for many years, and then continued to expand in the piers. And as with many in the art fair world, we're obviously affected by the pandemic in 2020. And so recently we then restarted the fair after the 2-year hiatus, and we're at Center 415 back in Midtown Manhattan. And so starting again. And this year, as I said, we're returning to the Park Avenue Armory and back to really the golden age of the photography show and the scale and grandeur that it needs to have. And it feels like a great return.
And what can visitor can expect this year in terms of, themes, exhibitors,
Absolutely.
um, overall experience?
Yes. So we're welcoming 78 exhibitors this year, and it's truly a global reach. We have members, we have guest exhibitors, and the main concentrations are always American galleries, but also French. We have a large contingent of our French colleagues coming over,
Okay.
including Gallery Sit Down, who's part of our new associate member program. Um, Gallery Hoog. We've got so many, and it's always exciting to have our European colleagues come, especially because this is the first year we've had a European president of APAD, with Martin van Petersen of Abasha, who will also be, of course, exhibiting with us. And so to welcome so many European galleries is great. And then we also have Third Gallery coming from Osaka and Vasari coming from Latin America. So it's a wide range. Outside of that, we have our APAD Talks program, which has been going on for really the past 5 years, has really come into its own. And we'll be doing on-site talks there on different exhibitions, including the Long Arc that was just in Atlanta and is now moving north. And our APAD award winner, who will be announced in due course, which is
Okay.
always a really exciting talk to open our series with. And then continuing on from last year, we're also doing the second edition of our Monumental Pathway to show really large scale photography. It was an initiative we started last year that was hugely successful. I guess a bit of a pun in using the word hugely, but
No, but
we're
it's within
paying.
the fair, or
It's
it's
within the fair. No, it's within the fair, and APAD puts up large walls throughout the venue, and exhibitors are able to exhibit works that generally wouldn't fit within a 12 by 24 stand or might take up the entirety of their stand. We're giving them a platform to really show the possibilities of scale in fine art photography.
and thank you, Lydia. And
Yes.
I'd like now to broaden a bit to the photography market, uh, both in the United States and maybe globally. So, according to you, how has it evolved these past years, especially with the pandemic, and what trends are you, observing among collectors?
Yes, I think, as the entire market, photography and art in general, has recovered from the pandemic, recovered or kind of reignited. There is this real thirst to see art in person. And, I think you're probably more even uniquely positioned than I am to talk about this with the travels that you have, but people are traveling again. They're going to see art fairs. They're going to see exhibitions. And I think that thirst to see art in person has been something that we've seen since we relaunched in 2022. Even though we only had 48 exhibitors last year, it was the same amount. Our attendance doubled between 2022 and 2023, just because, different variants of the pandemic hadn't been, they haven't been as powerful.
But many US collectors or collectors from...
So, in 2022, it was mainly US because people weren't traveling yet. And last year, we saw an explosion of our international curators coming back and collectors traveling from Spain and Germany and the Netherlands. And we actually had a nice contingent from Japan. AIPAD has a really strong Japanese photography concentration, both in our members and galleries that show it. So it's always wonderful. We kind of know that our market is doing well when people are willing to travel that long. But the market in general, I will say, is one that I think is consistent across both photography and other mediums, and in that it isn't a rebound. Masterpieces are always going to be desired and coveted. And I think that finding the niches that are not as well covered have been something that photography has been really good at. It's something that has a really great access point. So we're seeing, huge collecting trends in women of color, LGBTQ+, these minority groups that maybe haven't had the spotlight on them before are really becoming a major mover in what is being shown, and also I would say what's being created and what access for artists is being opened.
Okay, and
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, and in terms of prices, is there any, I won't say affordable, but pieces for like first-time buyers, or is it only for seasoned collectors?
No, I think that that's similar to, even access for artists. I think for collectors, photography is such an incredible medium to start collecting in, because the prices range from, I would even say a couple $100s to millions. The range is incredible, but the emerging artist, the emerging photographer can be incredibly affordable, especially at a place like AIPAD, where you can come and speak to our gallerists who know so much, and they can point you and kind of show you where the affordability is and where maybe something is that's maybe a little more aspirational for your collecting journey down the line.
Great. And I'd like to conclude with maybe a sneak peek. Would you highlight some artists or exhibitors participating this year that, according to you, are represent the cutting edge or the future of the photography medium?
Absolutely. So, the thing about AIPAD is that it is an encyclopedic art fair for history and current trends in photography. So I love that about our fair, and I love that about our membership. Some of the exciting emerging artists that I'm really looking forward, or emerging is the wrong word, but maybe ones that are established but that are working in new processes. We have, trying to think who I would want to. We have Sarah Sense at Bruce Silverstein, who has recently gotten the British Fellowship, and who is working really in her Indigenous roots and areas that are not quite as highlighted as they could be. And then Robert, God, I'm blanking on his last name. Sorry.
Right, it's early.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying, yes. Robert Langham at Kozlov Larson, which the gallery in Texas, which is formerly Photo Relevance. He just had the Guggenheim Fellowship in photography and is working in new processes that I think are pushing boundaries and are seeing how we can change not two-dimensionality, but the medium as you expect to see it. And so I would say those two. So Sarah is at Bruce Silverstein, Robert is at Gustav Larson. And then, of course, going back to your earlier questions about trends, I think another one is Latin American photography that is really having a moment. So Toluca Fine Art from Paris will be with us and showing artists from Chile and Colombia. And as I mentioned, Marina Pellegrini from Vasari always brings really incredible Latin American photography as well.
Thank you, Lydia.
Yes, you're welcome.
Looking forward now to discover this upcoming edition, which is taking place late April.
Yes, so our dates are April 25th through the 28th, and we're back at the Park Avenue Armory.
Brilliant. So yes. I wish you luck with it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Your valuable insight and your time.
Yes, thank you.
Have a nice day, Lydia.
You too.
Check, we are done. Just I press stop.